Hello world of YouTube and welcome to another episode of Redacted, the show where I take a look at albums that have a solid foundation but a spotty execution. And this month, we're closing the year out with something huge. While I've done redactions on multiple records before, and I've done a redacted with more records than what's in this particular episode, I've never done a redaction on multiple records where I like each individual piece on their own. And that is the subject of today's episode. I'm going to be looking at 3 projects that all ended up on my year-end list the year that they released. And talk about why I think this is still a pretty solid listening experience in spite of me loving each piece of that puzzle. Yeah, today I'm going to be pulling together the 3 projects from 2017 released by the very popular boy band Brockhampton, the Saturation Trilogy.
Keep a gold chain on my neck, fly as a jet. Boy, better treat me with respect. Rock the boat like a one-eyed pirate. Rick James, like a glitter on my eye.
Like I said, these records are all really fucking good, and the whole concept behind Saturation, from the production to the look of each project to the videos to everything, the whole idea of putting out 3 albums of the year, saturating the scene with their music, was just great. And I'm not going to say that this is the perfect way to listen to these 3 records because they're all good. They're all so very good. But I feel like when you're talking about a show like this, the idea of doing this to these albums is going to come up. So I figured I would address it now and pull together these records into one, what I would say is a good abridged version of the Saturation Trilogy. It's 16 tracks, under an hour. Somehow, I combed over these 3 albums a lot and picked the songs that I think best represented the sound of the era, the different tones that each album went for, and had different types of songs that coded them in maybe more than one instance as to what would appear on each record. I'm going to do it in the track-by-track breakdown. Mostly I just wanted to say, get this whole caveat out of the way, that I don't think this maybe is the essential way to listen to these records, because they're all 3 really good, but I did my best. Here's my track listing that I went with.
Like a perfect Simpson, when around you can change your song, hun. Give me shit. The original licks, flickety higher than Yosemite.
Me, party never fit me. Punani never don't like July. Guess it's sign of the months. Should've opened up my mouth. In the heat of the summer, it's so.
Learn to be on my own since then. Marble flow in my brand new crib.
Are the bills paid? Does it make a break? Will I find a way? Have my feelings?
Since you wanna get high off a nigga, I want to be some more. I just need to be alone.
Nigga talk shit, I'll
Being who I am.
Someone I can sit around. Mama tried to help me, but I hardly ever listened, so she sent me to them white.
If you're thinking I'm enough, that's enough, that's enough.
I'm confident, I am back again. Don't go running your mouth, don't go. Got a dream, and if you believe, then I can take you somewhere that is pristine. I'm keep. I might see something I don't.
Now, I could have opened with the absolutely scorching heat, but I went with Boogie, because Boogie is just so fucking good. I think it's the best opener out of all 3 projects. I think it's the one with the most urgency and allows you to start with a bang and sustain the energy with bangers after that, which is what I did. You know, from Boogie through Johnny, I just wanted to have a big song with banger after banger after banger. Sweet Golden Johnny are all 3 really energetic, or at least boisterous songs with everyone coming in there with their own heat, their own really good verses. And Johnny kind of treads some other more, you know, social conscious sort of sounds in its lyrics, and I also really like that. And it also, the hook of Johnny carries through some of the other production ideas that are seen on Boogie and cements some of the more kind of internal struggle type lyrics that the album is going for, with the whole chorus of I just want a space with my own best friend. You know, that was all the whole embodiment of that. But I followed Johnny up because it kind of dwindles little by little, you know. Boogie is still the highest of the 4. but they get less in intensity as it goes on. But I wanted to have more than just one Bareface song, because I like the Bareface songs that close the Saturation trilogy, and I figured if I was going to have one, it would be a point of levity amongst the bangers in the beginning of the record, and I wanted summer, because again, it's this album, these 3 albums, all feel like they're meant to be blared in the summertime, and I basically wanted to use it, like I do a couple of songs in the track listing, as sort of an interlude kind of bridge between general ideas and concepts explored in certain legs of the record. You know, the first leg is a bunch of bangers, Johnny kind of teases something a little more, and Summer is the bridge between it and songs like Stains, Tokyo, and Bleach, which are a lot more chill and laid back, that explore a little more deeper lyrical topics like personal growth, personal struggles, both financially and relationship-wise, and just general emotion-feeling songs. Milk is the same way, but I use Fake as kind of a companion song to it, and Fake and Johnny I could see why people might switch them, because Fake more sounds like the first leg of the record, and Johnny, again, kind of sounds like this leg, but I wanted to use it as a bridge to Milk, because the kind of sentiment shared in the chorus bridges really well to Milk. Fake kind of seems like it's fed up with a lot of the outside noise, and Milk is kind of wanting to seek comfort from someone that you're close to, and Milk's my favorite Brockhampton song, personally. I think it's an amazing song, and I kind of use it as the emotional climax of this section, because then we get to another kind of transitional cut with Teeth, which is the only Amir solo cut I wanted to have on here. Amir is all over the Saturation trilogy. Kind of an elephant in the room when talking about this trilogy, because of the kind of controversy that surfaced in the wake of his departure, and the controversy surrounding him in general, and I'm sure some people don't like the Saturation trilogy because he's all over it, but I'm just gonna leave him as an integral part of the trilogy because he was, and leave at least one of his solo songs on here, and I chose Teeth because this shit's fucking smooth. I love the bare bones instrumental that kind of acts as the breather from Milk's kind of somber rock tinge instrumental that gets kind of noisy at points, and use it as a transition to the last leg, which is kind of just another slow build. You know, it kind of has topics that have facets seen in both first legs of the record, just with instrumentals that get a bit more noisy, a little bit more out there. HOTTIE is just a fucking bop. It's got a great hook, and it's a fun song that leads into Queer and Junky that are a little bit more on the, I don't want to say aggro tinge, but angry side. I could see someone maybe putting Heat in place of HOTTIE, but I think HOTTIE's a fucking bop, and I wanted to put it there. I think it's a great fucking tune that, again, just kind of embodies some of the lyrical topics explored throughout the record, or throughout the other records that are in the Saturation saga. And Queer and Junky, again, just kind of a build-up to kind of have like a climax to build to in a third leg, because I wanted to have 3 waves of the record of sorts. You know, Boogie is the first big wave that kind of dies down. Then then Milk is the second wave. It's not as big as Boogie, but it's there. And then kind of have it raise again to Junky, or to Queer, which is a much noisier cut, to then fade down through Junky, Face, and Waste. And Face and Waste are kind of just the 2 kind of slower, more, again, emotional feeling cuts, and they kind of act as the fade away for the record to have after a series of tracks that are emotionally potent, very sonically potent, and the saturation, I feel like, is still fully there. And again, both tracks really good, but they're both kind of just a coda for the record to burn out on. And that's why I closed it the way that I did. Again, I wanted to have another Bareface song, and I chose Waste because it's my second favorite of the Bareface slower songs, and I think it closes the record on a really good note. In summation, I know that many people could probably have their own different redactions for these 3 records, and I know I left some popular songs on the cutting room floor like Heat and Alaska and Zipper and Jello, but if I were to pick songs that I feel like represent the Saturation trilogy, both in production and in performance, and show how diverse the group was in that time, as far as having bangers like Sweet, Gold, Fake, and Teeth, having an Amir-centric song like Teeth, having the Bareface songs like Waste and Summer, having the more personal shit or like Milk and Bleach and Stains. That's why I kept what I kept. I wanted to have a full listen without having too much, you know, which again, I feel like goes against the saturation mantra that these records were put through, but that's why I did what I did. You know, my only two big goals were to keep it representative of the era and keep it under an hour, because I feel like with the whole goal of the segment, outside of some outliers, I try to keep albums under an hour. I feel like listeners generally like records that sit between 45 and 55 minutes, give or take a couple of minutes, but that was my goal with this project, and with most projects on this segment, just to give you kind of a peel behind the curtain. But either way, even if I didn't include your favorite song from the trilogy on here, I hope you did enjoy this redaction. If you did like it, be sure to give it a like. If you want to see more of my music, gaming, and general nerdery content, be sure to subscribe. Special thanks to the patrons. If you would like to support their ranks, linked in the description is my Patreon. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Val Rack. You guys have videos, situations, and I'll see you another day.
Thank you.